Hello, everybody. How'd y'all like my new countdown I had going on tonight? Welcome to another wonderful Monday night of Chewin the BBQ Fat, guys. Great to be here. I'm in my new area. It's brand new. We still have work, everything hung up yet, but we are working on it. We are trying to get it going. I bought a new camera. I bought a new setup. You know me. I can't figure it out yet. So hopefully by next week, everything will be a lot better. We'll have my new camera. I'm going to have my new um, microphone. Ellen's been working hard down here to get me set up. She's doing an awesome job. So soon enough, we're going to have all kind of stuff set up down here, and we're going to be rocking and rolling, guys. I can't wait for y'all to see it. But you know, it's a new day here at Chewin the BBQ Fat. Really looking forward to Jim Compart coming on. He's going to be on soon. He's just working on getting set up. So, but I just wanted to get going and tell you guys what we've got. We got a contest coming up. We got a double coming up this weekend. Not much, Stan. Hope you're doing, bud. Hope you're doing well. Getting ready to cook a double this weekend. It's going to be good. But just staying busy. Got to get twice the meat prepped. I got 8 Compart pork butts to cook, 8 racks of ribs to prep, 2 briskets getting going. Man, it's going to be a busy week. 32 chicken thighs. Holy smolies, it's going to be something else. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited to be able to get back and cook. You know, it's not that often that we get to cook, it seems like. So when there is an opportunity to cook, get out there and cook. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, Stan, he is coming on. I cannot wait. I've been excited about bringing Jim on for a long time because I think Jim is, in my opinion, I think Compart Duroc pork is the best out there. You're having audio issues. What's the audio issues sound like, Mike? Need to know so I can get it fixed. Aaron, what's going on, man? Good to see you, bud. Time to cook 12 thighs. Yeah, I normally do, but I got a double, so I got to cook more. Yep. Are y'all able to hear me okay? I know it sounds like there might be an echo in here, but that could just be the room. But anyway, glad y'all aren't having issues, Mike. Hopefully we'll get that taken care of and get you rock and rolling. Guys, hit the like page, share the page. Tell everybody about our YouTube channel. We got a YouTube thing going on also now. Really cool. I want that to take off. Good. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Glad everything's working well. Aaron, I know you were out there cooking again last week. Man, I tell you what, if y'all are not watching the KCBS Team of the Year points, this to me has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun watching what's going on. I mean, you got Aaron with Man Meat, you got Chris Schaefer with Heavy Smoke, you've got Boomerang, now Slaps, Joe Pierce just came in. You know, nobody's talking about it, but guys, I'm telling you, watch out for Robert and Lex with Smoke Me Silly. After this weekend, they're cooking the double. It's gonna be two more contests. That's gonna get them to 10. Really curious to see where they end up. And then the other one, Rooters and Tutors, here they come. I'm telling you what, guys, y'all be watching out. But like I say, if you're not watching the KCBS points thing, you got to start watching it. It is super exciting what's going on. And Aaron, I know you're working hard. Keep it up. You and Chris, y'all got a good battle going on. A lot of fun to watch, like I said. But man, I'll tell you what, we're excited. We're headed down to Augusta, Georgia this weekend. We've got a double. Holy smokes! I've only cooked one double in my life at the Royal last year or 2 years, whatever that was, a decade ago. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm just glad to be able to get out and cook, and have fun with it, because I think there's gonna be 68 teams cooking or 58 teams on Sunday cooking for the $40,000, and then there's like 46 teams cooking on the Cook for Fun or cash, and it's got $12,000 locked up into it. So there's a lot of money to be had. But to me, I'm excited to be out there cooking. Guys, I want y'all to look over here to my right here at this sign, Pirate. I know y'all all know Dale Wilson, Pirate 50. He made that sign for us, guys. This thing is awesome. It is a great piece of art. We love it. It's going to be hung up right here before it's all said and done. But guys, if y'all know Dale, if y'all know Pirate, you saw this week or last week that he had a fire at his shop, lost everything. So if you can do anything, help the guy out, help Dale out. He's a great guy. Him and Jan, wonderful family, wonderful people, and they're just great people. So if you can do anything for Pirate, Dale Wilson, Pirate 50, he's the guy that makes a lot of trophies down here in this area, does a lot of cool things. I know he can't make any signs or do much right now because he lost all his stuff, but if you can, look him up, let him know you're thinking about him, help him out anyway. But yep, awesome. I just want to get that out there because Dale, thinking about you, bud, praying for you, and I know it's going to come back fast. You're going to come back bigger and better, so it's going to be awesome. Yes, we do have Aaron Stouffer's Man Meats rubs here at the Atlanta Barbecue Store. If you haven't tried these rubs, you are missing out. Incredible, as you can see. They're great rubs. He's got the Texas, he's got the Kansas. They're just two rubs that you need in your arsenal. It's what we have to have here going on. Week in, week out. You got to have the best of the best in your rubs. Hello, sweetheart. Oh, yeah, come on in here. It's just me. It's just me tonight, sweetheart. Jim's having some issues. He's going to be on in just a second. So, hey, everybody, here's Ellen.
Hello.
She's covered up the sign. Yeah, so I've already talked a little bit about the sign, but
okay. Well, we just want to give a shout out to Dale Wilson of Pirate
50.
Pirate 50. He made us this wonderful sign that we're going to hang up on the wall once Brian figures out exactly where he wants to sit.
Yeah, we got to figure it out. I don't know if I'm going to be moving in this room or not. We're working on it.
So if all goes well, we'll be hanging up the sign. He made it a few weeks ago, and so we wanted to give a shout out to him. And if anybody needs any trophy work done or any kind of special sign, he's your guy. And we want to also mention that he did lose his workshops due to fire. So
not lying.
I
just talked about it.
Yeah. So definitely.
Can you, while I got you on here, because I hear Sarah running down the stairs, y'all might get a Sarah sighting. What are some new products you have other than Man Meat? I'm telling you guys, you've got to try Man Meat, the real Texas style, and the real Kansas City style. Try it. What else do you have going on?
Okay, well, we've got the Crawford's Rodeo Wing Sauce.
Oh, nice.
That is a new addition to his rubs. We've got the LC Barbecue Rubs. Well,
we did not get her phone.
She's using one of my old phones for phone. It doesn't work. Okay, so we've got the LC Rubs. In addition to his injections, we had picked up his injections a while back, but now we finally got the rubs.
There's nobody on there.
Well, you don't see them; they're watching them. We also got the Texas pepper deli brisket and chicken rub in, and I
didn't know that.
To put that on the side. It's not on the site yet. I just got it in my hand today. We've got another few things coming. But we will mention those closer to the holidays.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, y'all got Ellen here. If you need any questions, she's at Atlanta Barbecue Store. That's the girl. She's rocking out. And then Sarah here. Y'all will love Sarah. I wish Trey Terry was on. He would be excited to see Sarah. Matt Goodman. I know they love seeing Sarah. But anyway, that's that. So, guys, here's what I'm thinking what I'm going to do.
I'm going to go take Sarah up and get her settled down. Do you need me for anything?
Thank you, Aaron. Nope, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, fine swine. If you haven't, so Ellen, real quick, our fine swine. If you buy 2 original or sweets, you get the Texas heat free, right?
You just add the Texas heat to the cart.
Add the Texas heat to the cart with it, and it'll automatically take it off. You don't have to do anything. Do they have to buy 2 of one rub, or can they buy 1 of each? Awesome. So if you go in there and you get a fine swine sauce, two of them, either the original competition or the sweet,
They could do all three.
you could do all three. You can get the free one also. You can do this Texas Heat. I'm telling you, that's what we're trying to do is get that Texas Heat out. If you haven't tried the Texas Heat rub, it's one that's not out there very much. It's an incredible sauce.
They don't need a coder.
No code. Just put in the two sauces, but you do have to add that other sauce in for it to come on to be on site. We got Jim coming on now. That's great. But last thing I want to mention, what I'm going to do in the next week or two. I haven't talked to that many of my teams yet, but I got some of my sponsored teams that I'm going to get on next week, next couple of weeks, and we're going to have a roundtable with those teams about cooking chicken, ribs, pork, brisket. I'll probably have 3 or 4 teams come on just so we can talk about that. So y'all be thinking about it. Y'all get your questions ready. But right now, I'm going to bring on Jim Compart, the owner of the best pork out there. If you haven't tried Compart Duroc pork, you're missing out. But I'm going to bring Jim on right now so we can talk about it. And we haven't talked yet, so I'm just hoping everything goes well. Hey, Jim.
How you doing?
Great. Everything's good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome.
Sorry, we had some technical difficulties here, but I'm not sure how these old guys can operate without their kids, you know?
I tell you what, if you've ever watched Chewin the BBQ Fat, you know we are king of having technical difficulties. So that is nothing new to our show.
No, we've done a lot of these, and there's always a twist to some of these different ones. So
Yeah,
we should have her now.
That's good. We're in. Thank you so much, Jim, for coming on. And if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody on. And guys, if you're out there watching, please share this, like it, get it out there so as many people can watch this. Not very often you get Jim Compart, the man, here out there talking. So, Jim, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your farm and the pork that you have.
Well, Brian, I'm Jim Compart. I'm from Nicollet, Minnesota. Our family has raised purebred breeding stock for over 65 years. And, basically, we're from a very diversified farm originally. My parents had dairy cows, they had pigs, they farmed some corn and soybeans, and just a basic family farm. And so it started, pretty much with a desire that my father had back when he was in 4-H and he was 15 years old and 14 years old, I guess, and he really wanted to have some purebred registered Durocs because he wanted something that was special, not just a plain crossbred pig. And so he started out with, a couple purebred Duroc yelts, and they got a Duroc boar, and started raising purebred Durocs. And he had the passion. He also started with a few purebred Jersey cows, and he had the passion to want to see how they can make them better. And so that's kind of the beginning of what happened with our family is, his desire when he was young and develop a better product.
That's great. So it started out years ago, and now what has the farm turned into?
Well, as the farm grew, all of our, I've got 3 brothers and a sister. The 4 boys farmed together for many years, and currently there's 3 brothers and 2 nephews that are my 2 sons and another nephew that are back in the operation. I've got a brother Dean and a brother Chris, and their wives, along with my wife, are actively involved in some shape or form, whether it's accounting, processing records, selecting barbecue competition product that's sent out to you guys every week. So everybody's very involved. It came from, starting and kind of growing up with it. And I was kind of thinking about that when I was having computer problems. It's like, how do these kids know this? It's like, well, it's because those kids grew up with that, and they learn little pieces at a time, and now they're way ahead of us. And so that's kind of how we started, and we just stayed focused on how do we make the best better. My father was very influenced by, research and testing, and he started testing animals back in the mid 60s to see how he could make them grow faster on less feed, have less back fat, perform better for the commercial customers that bought the animals. As we grew up, I started when I was 15 with my brother, and we started a purebred herd of Yorkshire animals, and we basically doubled the size of the farm by the time I was a senior. And from there, we continued to grow. Breeding Durocs. We're one of the largest, or probably the largest Duroc breeder in the United States right now. So we have not only a great number of animals for diversification, but we've been testing the animals, like I said, for rate of gain, how much back fat, how big their pork chop was or loin eye. And then in the mid 90s, we started seeing what's going on with meat quality. Pork was pale and it was dry and it was tough. And we were involved with what was called the National Genetic Evaluation, in which, the National Pork Council took animals from various farms, put them in a test station, a national test station, and we happened to supply about 80% of the Durocs that went into that test. And that test showed that Durocs clearly won the performance and meat quality characteristics of the animals. And so from that point, we knew we had something and decided we needed to, grab a hold and do something. And at that point, we got into the meat business. Otherwise, we were in the breeding business. And so it's kind of evolved since killing our first pigs in 2002. And now we're processing, between 1,700 and 2,000 at a week.
That's awesome. You mentioned something. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. You're talking about the pale, or the meat was pale. And there's something about Compart pork that, and I know Stan Bebinitsky just said redder is better. And that is what I noticed when I first started cooking Compart, was the color of the meat itself it was a nice redder. It was redder than normal pink or whatever. Just amazing. So that's something that y'all looked at and y'all were working on to make that. What does that do to the pork itself? Is that the flavor?
Well, redder is better. We actually have that phrase trademarked. And what you find is redder pork is higher pH pork. If you test it with a pH meter, and higher pH pork is usually more tender. And so the Duroc naturally is a higher pH animal. We, through breeding and selecting for over 25 years, have increased the pH of the animal above standard, Durocs. But in addition, what we've done is we've scanned the animals to see how much marbling, that's those white flecks of meat in the loin itself. And we have selected the animal, and we have 3 to 4 times more marbling in our Durocs than any other Duroc on the market, because we've selected animals for 20 years for marbling by using ultrasound and keeping the very best males and the best Duroc females in the Duroc breed. And so, we're 20 years ahead of anybody that even starts doing it. And so, there's a lot of processors out there that want to manufacture it, call it Duroc, and it may be the Duroc, but it's 20 years behind. It's like buying a field trial champion dog versus a black dog at the dog pound and going hunting and seeing what kind of experience you're going to have at the end of the day.
That's right. It's awesome. So I have a question here, and I know the answer to it, but I'm going to let you go ahead and do it. Do you direct ship to people's houses? If yes, how do we access your products?
Well, we do ship 2 days a week in the summer, 3 days a week, in the cooler months, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And they can go to our website at www.compartdurocpork.com. And all the product that we sell out of that website is competition product. So, some people say, well, what's the difference? Well, we go through all the product and we select the very best ribs, the straightest ribs, the best trimmed ribs. Same thing with the butts. We go through the money muscle, we select the animals at the plant. We actually have a employee that works in the plant selecting product, and then once it gets shipped to our online store that's at our farm, we've got a site that we use just for the online program. And at that point, my brother goes through every rib and every butt and selects them again. And so we do ship to other distributors, you know, Cisco's, some U.S. Foods, Benny Keith, Shamrock, other private distributors throughout the country. If they buy through those distributors, they need to make sure that they ask for the competition codes, because those are the ones that are actually sorted, you know, for meat quality, and not only meat quality, but for the quality of the cut. They're all coming from the same pigs, so the flavor and taste will be the same. But you know, they just aren't looked at twice like ours would be before they get sent out.
That's okay. That makes sense. Yes, I mean, I can tell you the reason I know is because I order directly from Compart. I go ahead and I call in and I send an email or I do something. And I tell you what, it's the easiest process you can do. You call, you put your order in online. They don't charge a credit card until it ships, and everything's going out.
Brian, your mic went mute.
Can you hear me now?
I got you now, Brian.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, this new system going on there. I'm sorry about that. But yes, I can.
You should be there now.
Yeah, can you keep talking real quick? I gotta make.
Okay, no, we got her.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, it's easy to do. I order direct from Compart all the time. It's a very simple process. Make sure you do it because it's an easy system. And I've had an issue before, and I called, and is it Rachel? Is that who? Is that
Rochelle? Rochelle's my sister-in-law. Yep.
Yep, she came in, took advantage. I mean, took care of everything. The customer service was top notch. And if you haven't ordered from Compart, if you haven't tried their pork, you're missing out. Y'all all heard me talk about my story. My first story about using Compart was when I was cooking with Robert with Smoke Me Silly, and I took up a commodity pork butt, and he had Compart, and it was just night and day difference. I mean, just the flavor, the fat in it is different. And any of you that cook it, you know the difference. But how did y'all get into the competition world, Jim?
Well, you know, the loins, you know, selecting for marbling and meat quality, you know, the loins kind of were that's why they call it high on the hog, is because the loin come from the high end of the hog. And so, you know, we're pretty much focused on marbling and the pork chop. And so we were selling loins and pork chops to white tablecloth restaurants, to food service, and some retail. And, you know, we had excess ribs and butts, and I started looking around doing some research, and naturally knowing that ribs and butts are used in barbecue, you know, I learned that didn't realize that people ran around the country every weekend cooking barbecue like Minnesotans go fishing. So discovered the barbecue competition world and thought, well, I talked some, you know, different barbecue restaurants and asked them about our product, and they'd like to try it. And they said, well, we could, but, you know, really the pork doesn't matter. I've got the best sauce and I got the best rub, and that's what barbecue is about. So I thought, well, let's find out if the pork makes a difference. And that's when we started out with a couple barbecue teams, Mark Lambert from Sweet Swine of Mine, you know, Boar's Night Out, and from Mississippi are a couple of the very first teams, Leanne Whippen. She was one of my first teams, Robert Sierra. And with those teams, we started going out in different parts of the country, and they just were winning everything. And, you know, they just couldn't believe it, you know. And so at that point, we've seen that pork really does make a difference, and it does in the barbecue competition world. And so, from there, it just kind of grew, because, it's kind of like when I like to fish, and if I'm going to sit on the lake all weekend, I'm going to make sure I've got whatever they're biting on. And I do some research, and if I know they bite on this at this lake, I make sure that I'm fishing with that. And that's kind of the same way with the barbecue. It's like, why go there and handicap yourself? Between the pork and the ribs, that's half the points at the barbecue competition. So we've been blessed. Our family started out with a pig that basically the pig that Christopher Columbus brought across from the ocean. And, that's because he knew it was better eating quality product, probably. And
Right.
so, our family's been very research orientated. We've bred them, we've selected them. In addition to that, we did a nutritional research where we tested over 100,000 pigs on 2 different research farms that we own. And we looked at different feed ingredients, that makes the meat, taste better, as well as the fat. What gives us a better flavored fat? And so we looked at, there's a lot of different ingredients that people use. Since ethanol has been in production, when they make ethanol, it's like making moonshine. And they got the sour mash, and they've got the alcohol. Well, the pig is kind of what he tastes, what he eats. If you want him to taste like a walnut, you feed him walnuts. If you want him to taste like sour mash, you feed him sour mash. And so we feed really high quality ingredients that taste good. We feed a higher level of vitamins and trace minerals that improves our meat quality and our shelf life. Makes that whiter fat, that white creamy fat that when it renders down, is flavor. It's just not grease. And so, where the other fat melts down, it's like melting Wesson oil. Ours like melting true lard. And that's why the fat is so firm. It's like lard in the refrigerator versus Wesson oil in the refrigerator.
Yeah. Stan and Travis both have been talking about how you have been a supporter of barbecue, all kind of barbecue from early on. And, you were able to see what was going on, I think, earlier. And I take it just like everything else. Competition barbecue is probably not a huge part of the Compart business. I know it's a part of it, but y'all sell them everywhere. Everybody's getting your product. What makes competition barbecue so special to y'all? Because y'all have done y'all support a lot of different things. Stan and Travis both. Travis Duffy was saying we were very thankful for all your support from the whole family for competition barbecue. Y'all gave away a bunch of stuff to the Grand and looks like reserve for butts and ribs. So what is it about competition barbecue? Is it something special to y'all? Is it something that you just really care about?
Well, the largest part of our business isn't competition barbecue. It's selling product by the semi loads, to various distributors. The barbecue is kind of like NASCAR. You've got, but the people. That's probably what attracts us most. Is the people are the greatest people. It's too much work for somebody out there that isn't a good person and somebody isn't passionate for this sporting event. And it's good people, it's families, it's people that are the salt of the earth, and you can't find better people than people in barbecue.
Yeah, I agree. We talk about it every week, week in, week out, about how good people are, and it's almost like a family feel. And that's kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of this with Dale Wilson and Pirate 50, the guy that makes trophies, and he makes this artwork behind us. His shop broke down, and just to see or burnt down, and to see the camaraderie, the people coming up, stepping up, and helping each other is amazing in the barbecue world. And that's what's so cool to see. Yeah, Steve Lauer says you also sponsor the Kids Queue as well with pork loins. I love the Kids Queues. I think those are Awesome. But Tom Berger wants to know where you're located. So I think you talked about that at the beginning, but if let everybody know where you are or where y'all are out of.
We're located in Nicollet, Minnesota. We're 85 miles southwest of Minneapolis, so our nights are pretty peaceful. And we're in the middle of farm country. I mean, it's corn and soybeans, and farm families that raise hogs, have milk cows. There's not a lot of beef cows in our area, but mostly dairy cows and a lot of row crop, corn and soybeans, and a lot of good family operations. And like I said, our operation is a family operation. We have, like I said, we've got there's 3 brothers. Now our sons are coming into the business, and our wives have been vital in staying with us and supporting us, and it's the same thing in the barbecue world. There's a lot of good women that are behind their husband. If they're not there at the show, they sure understand what's going on to support them to be gone like they are.
I couldn't do it without Ellen, and I know there's a lot of people out there that would say the same thing. I mean, you got to have that support. How many different farms do y'all have? Is it all one big farm, or do you have places throughout Minnesota? Because it sounds like you've got pigs, you got cows, you got plants or whatever you all. So y'all have all kind of things. You're not just you're not just into the pig farming.
Well, we don't have any cows anymore. My boys had some beef cows in there 4-H, but it's hogs and corn and soybeans. We farm about 3,000 acres of corn and soybeans. We'll raise around 100,000 pigs a year total. Our farms are spread out across southern Minnesota, probably the south third of Minnesota. I've got a son and his wife are at a farm that's just northwest of Minneapolis, about 50 miles. We have another nucleus farm. They're in very healthy, low hog prevalence areas, and that's where our genetics are at. Where there's no other diseases that are in that area to infect the breeding animals. And then we have a boar stud that my brother and his wife manage. So we take the very best sires that are coming out of those nucleus farms. They go into this boar stud, and we actually send semen out of those very top 2% of the sires out to all the different farms. So we're truly using the very best of the best sires to create this product. We also have other farms in addition to the farms that we own. We have other farm families where it's husband and wives, dad and son, or dad and daughter, or daughter-in-law and son, that use our genetics. They feed the same feeding program that we have. We've got about a 12-step feeding program that pig eats. So no matter if that pig is being raised on our farm or another farm that raises pigs for Compart, it's always at a Compart sire. It's always fed the Compart Duroc rations. And so when they're 180 pounds on our farm or 180 pounds on their farm, they're eating the same diet. When they're 230, they eat the same diet. When they're 270 pounds, when they're being marketed, they're all on the same diet. So it's the same pig, the same sires, raised the same way, and that's why the product is so consistent.
That's great. I know we talked at the beginning of COVID back in March, April, I think. We talked a good bit about the pork situation, and I think at that time there was a lot of extra pork, or you couldn't do it. How is that? Is that firmed up with y'all, or how is the pork industry as a whole going right now?
Well, basically the packers are pretty much going. They're probably 98% fully staffed. I mean, they've it was a nightmare for a while. Matter of fact, we didn't know if we were going to have to put animals down. We were fortunate we did not have to. There was people that did. So we were able to move our way through it, and we got, stayed ahead of it. They're pretty much caught up now, with the flow of pigs. the issue we have right now is we got, there's people that are not returning back to work. They're still on unemployment, and they could work. There's jobs out there, but I'm not sure. I have a suspicion of why they're not coming back to work, but it's really affecting the further processing right now. It's the ham deboners and the picnics to make deboned picnics to make sausage. Those plants are short of help, and consequently the cost of the raw ingredient to the people that are making sausage or hams is high, and the return back to the processor and the farmer is very low because there's a glut of bone-in product, and so that's hurting us. The market was not good. In 2019, we kind of went through 2019, going into March of 2020. The market usually starts creeping up in April. Excuse me, and everybody knows what happened mid-March, and that just took the market even lower than what it was. So there's a lot of farmers are in trouble. There's a lot of people that are selling their sow herds and quitting, and so it's probably speeding up the integration of the corporate farms, and it's really not good to watch these family farms have to sell out because of bad prices because of this COVID.
Right. I'm glad to see y'all are still going well and everything's going good for you. I know we've talked a lot. Somebody asked, and I think Travis answered. Jeff Jordan will know. Can you order competition versus non-competition pork butts? Yes, you can. If you go to the website, you'll see on there competition grade and then non-competition grade. So just go to the website, check it out. What is the cost of a competition box shipped to you? Carl, if you go on their website, everything is pretty much right there. I think shipping depends on where you are, correct?
We've got, it's all based off of where you're located. You can select if you want it next day delivery or 2-day delivery. We don't send anything 3-day delivery. So if you're in the northern part of Maine or the very southwest part of San Diego, those are outside of the 2-day delivery. That's going to end up going 2-day air. So you'll get it within 2 days. But other than that, you just go to your menu and you can select. You can buy a case of butts. You can buy a case of ribs. We've got a rib and butt pack, whether it's St. Louis ribs and butts. You can get 4 ribs and 2 butts in a competition pack. Or if you're, in a Memphis barbecue network where you're using back ribs, we got a competition back rib. It's got 4 ribs and 2 butts in there as well. We do have a promotion right now. If you're buying over $100 worth of product, you get, one of our free quarter pit hams, which our hams and our bacon are phenomenal. So if you're wanting to give yourself a little treat, you're going to get the ham right now. It's a treat, but you should really try our bacon and some of our gourmet sausages. The jalapeno sausage and the apple gouda is unbelievable.
Ryan Horst just said, get the bacon. As you bacon. So I think on my next order, I'm going to have to get some bacon to try it out. So I've got the hams. I've got quite a few of the hams.
Okay.
And I'm going to get some of the bacon next time. But the website again was Compart Duroc Pork.com. Yeah. So Compart Duroc Pork.com. And I was going to see if I could put it up there. Maybe somebody can type that in the comments on there so it's easy to get to. The next question is whole hog. I want to talk about whole hog for a second, if you don't mind. What do you think is the ideal size for a whole hog? Is there a difference between a 180-pound whole hog and a 250? I mean, what would you say is the ideal thing for a whole hog?
Well, for me, the ideal hog is one that's under 165-pound carcass weight, because if they're over that, I can't put them in a box. if they're not in a box, they cannot be shipped to a lot of distributors. Shipping the whole hog, that's another, we don't ship those out of our web store. Those are going to have to get lined up, getting shipped through a distributor that we ship to. So we do ship, some larger hogs. Brad Orson, he likes to have huge hogs. And he's had some that are up into the 220-pound carcasses that he's won, Memphis and Maine multiple times with our pig. And he likes a big hog. They can get too big because I think when he gets too big, the hams start sliding out of the back when he's cooking them as a running style. But most popular is probably going to be like a 150-pound roaster. If you're laying them on his back, is probably the most popular. We do have some restaurants that bring in, those 150-pounders or 120-pound roasters that they feature as, a specialty item, in the restaurant. So for my birthday, we cooked a little 45-pounder and it was phenomenal. So yeah, it was good. But so yeah, they're available. You got to plan ahead. We have to set up shipping, so if you need them to, get it shipped to a distributor that's in your area or close to you, and you might have to drive a little bit farther for those. So.
And the best thing they can do, somebody can do if they want to, they can just call you or send you an email, and you can get all that stuff right away. I mean, you can get the information back right away.
Correct. Yep. They can reach us, at our toll-free phone number is 877-441-2627, or email us at compartduroc.com. And
it's all there. Everything on the website. If you get to go to the website, check it out. This is some of the, like I said, it's the best pork you'll ever get. Travis Duffy said, "Man, a 45-pound Compart pig would be awesome. That would fit my Yoder 1500." Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to figure out. I have a Jambo. I'm trying to figure out how I get a whole hog on a Jambo. I don't know if I can make it work or not, but I sure would like to try somehow. But no,
yeah, we can run them skin on or skin off, and so, the skin is awesome on those little guys, So yeah, I laid it on a pork belly, and then I put them on the smoker and stuffed them with some sausage and stuffed bacon, across his tenderloins, and yeah, it was a feast when he came out.
I bet. What all you've described tonight about the pork and about the research y'all done and everything else, I've always said we pay extra money for a brisket, for a Wagyu brisket. Why are we not doing the same thing for pork? And I think that's changing. I think you're seeing that change really quick. And you get what you pay for, right? You get all that science behind the product. I mean, these proteins they've been tested, they've been researched. The science is there to make this the best tasting pork out there. And I think it's great. I just think it's great what y'all are doing because I love the product. And that's ever since I started cooking, my two best categories are ribs and pork. It seems to be my most consistent category. And the thing that I contributed to, of course, is Compart pork. Because if anybody's ever watched this show, y'all have heard me talk about this.
Well, it costs us more. The rations that we're feeding, there's a reason why the commodity hogs are eating the other rations. It's because they're saving money on every pig they're raising. And so if you've got a farm that's raising 100,000 pigs a year and they're saving $3 a pig, they're not getting paid $300,000 from the large corporate packers, to do that. So in turn, we have to pay our producers more to feed that animal, right? Yeah. And then we don't own the packing plant, so we have to have a custom processor. And it's the people that are custom processing, they're not processing 17,000 a day or 30,000 a day, at a plant. So they run our pigs through. We start killing. It's the very first thing in the morning. When's the cleanest time in the plant? It's the very first thing after it's all been cleaned up the night before. And so our pigs all ran then. It takes time for them to move all the combos out when we're done, and they move the next person in. So their line is standing around waiting for this all to happen. So it costs more to do it. And so it's not, we're not trying to mark it up just because we can or want to. It costs us extra money to do it. And like I said, the added cost for the feeding program, it adds up. And so we're trying to deliver a very high quality product. I mean, it's like going to a drag race and running 87 octane fuel. There's a reason why people are running high octane fuel, because they've got the motors tuned, and that's what all the competition is running is, they're running high octane fuel, and, you gotta kind of wait for things to happen to the other person if you're going to beat them, so,
Right.
People are going to find that our product cooks different with the added marbling. It transfers the heat differently. Our butts don't stall like commodity butts. Our ribs cook a little faster. They feel different. So you want to, like people ask me about the temperature, when you're cooking butts, and I'm not a professional cook, but I know everybody says, when you push the meat thermometer into it and it feels like butter, that's when it's done. So the best thing you can do is get some ribs, get some butts, do a little practice, go to a couple professional teams, that put on some classes and take a class. That'll be the cheapest money you ever spent. And once you get her dialed in, it's like setting an oven. It's the same pork this week and next month. And that's why the people are winning. You look at, Matt and Sarah Walker, they've walked away with ribs and butts the last 2 years. And they've gone off the charts with points. Well, once they got her dialed in, and they've been cooking us for about 3 years, 3 to 4 years. And, once they get everything dialed in, they know what to expect, and they know how to hold it. They know how to, what time to put it on and take it off, and they know how it performs. And so, once you get it figured out, you don't have, go back and say, oh, them ribs didn't quite perform, or they didn't taste like my ribs last week. Well, they never will. If you're buying commodity, that pig could have come from, one of 20,000 farms, fed multiple rations. You'll never get the same pig week after week, or you won't get the same pig in a year in the same farm, fed the same feed. So it's a total different creature to be compared to.
That's what I noticed. I cook 4 racks of ribs every time. And before I was cooking Compart, I would notice 2 racks would be similar, and then 2 racks, they wouldn't even taste the same. So I was like, man, what is going on? They're not even close to the same. Everything's the same, the same process, same everything, and they didn't come out right. Notice since I switched to Compart, all 4 racks taste the same every time. Now the doneness, same thing on the doneness. It's like, now it's up to me to get the tenderness right. I know what it's going to taste like. I just got to hit the tenderness.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I'll see somebody talking about, oh, I use XYZ ribs, like it's a company, it's a large company name.
Right.
Well, they came out, and the only thing that's the same is probably the plastic and the sticker that was put on them, because the meat is changing, coming from different farms. It's not consistent, and they go to another commercial packer, and those guys are throwing a lot of money at stuff, and the only thing that's uniform is the plastic and the label. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's I think it's so neat to see, and it's talking to you tonight. You can see the passion that you have, and you see how much you care about this. And obviously it's your family. It's your whole family is into it, and it just means a lot to you. And I think it's really, And like I said, the coolest thing is what you've done for the sport and how much you've put back into competition barbecue. Because to me, it's changed my competition. Well, I think it's great, and I know a lot of teams. I've got on to Compart, and they switch over, and it's like you say, you know what you're going to do, you know what you're going to get week in and week out. And Robert, he's the one that got me on it. And just a great guy, and but like I say, guys, if you haven't tried Compart, Jim is, I mean, his whole family, whoever you talk to there, you're probably going to talk to a Compart if you call in or you do something, and they're going to take care of you and they're going to care about you. So I just think it's just cool, and I'm glad you're able to come on tonight and talk about Compart. If anybody else has any questions while we got Jim on, feel free to ask away. He's here. But
Yeah, we had a great contest up in Minnesota yesterday, or I should say this weekend on Saturday, and the first place ribs and first place butts, were ours. We sponsored the kids queue, and we had kids cooking boneless loin that we gave them, and my wife and myself got to judge it, and yeah, it was phenomenal. I mean, it was really good. There were some really great entries, and you could see. There was a couple proud fathers that were in the back that probably shook a little too much MSG on a couple of things, but it was hilarious, But no, we had fun, and yeah, it's a good deal. We've done that for multiple years and helped there, and so nope, it's a great group of people everywhere. We enjoy traveling. This year we haven't been able to travel. As all the competitions, pretty much the big ones have been canceled, and so
yeah. Mitchell Bidwell has a good question, and I'm going to go along with this in a roundabout way, but I'll ask his question first. He said, "What is the deal with brands like Allegiance Creekstone with claims of Duroc? What Duroc is just a breed of pig, correct? I mean, is there and your Duroc, as we just talked at the beginning, is the 20 years of research that you've done in the feeding program, which separates you from all the other Durocs. Is that my understanding?"
Exactly. Duroc is a breed of hogs, just like Angus is a breed of cattle. And so, the Durocs that were tested back, in the mid 90s, early 2000s, they were sitting right now. The average of the Duroc breed, the marbling, if you're buying just a Duroc product, is about a 2.6 on marbling. We're using sires that are 5, 6, even 8% marbling. And so we'll have, half again or double the marbling. And when you do that, there's such a difference between going from 2.6 marbling to 3.6, it's like, it feels like it's double. When you go from 3.6 to 4.6, it's like 4 times the marbling, when you eat the product. I mean, it eats so much differently. And so we went back to where we were. I mean, we were in about 2.6. And so there's other Duroc lines out there. There was a lot of Duroc lines that, went away from supplying genetics for commercial pork production. They were raising them for show pig production. And there they were selecting animals that, had abundance of muscle, tremendously double muscled. And those animals are very low in marbling. So there's some of those breeders that, if people are using sires that were being used for those sires, but out of like the last 2,700 sires tested for marbling, our farm had 2,400 and like 48 of them. So out of the whole country, United States and Canada, there was only about less than 300 sires that were used that were scanned for marbling this past year. So, that just shows we test every single one of ours, and there's very few people testing, out of all the different breeders there in the country, in the United States and Canada, that, are testing, or else they would be in that number. So there's big.
one of my good friends, they show pigs, so they go around the country showing pigs. And I know he's got all I know nothing about pigs, but he can tell me the different the way they show. They have the Duroc line, they have other lines, and this, that, and the other. Do y'all get involved in the show side of things also?
We really don't. I mean, we've got kids and grandkids that are getting into, showing, and so we'll let them show, but that's almost a whole nother
Yeah,
breed. If anybody knows anything about showing sheep, they're probably about as far as the farthest thing away from a production animal. And it's the same thing with pigs. We're taking these lines and they're being used on family operations that are making their living not showing pigs, but raising pigs efficiently that grow fast. And consequently, the show pigs aren't bred to be growing fast. They
right,
hold them for a long time, and the characteristics they look for aren't the characteristics of a fast growing pig. And so that's kind of where the seas divide is either you're in the show pig business or commercial business. And the commercial business has been pretty savage with large corporate breeding companies that are involved. That's our competition, when we're out there, selling genetics. And, so we, kind of found our niche where we're supplying animals that are not only good performing animals for the farmer to make money, they're animals that eat good, taste good, and that people want them. And that's really what we wanted to do is back in the late 90s, there was yeah, a glut of pigs, and the processors were full of pigs, and you know we had pigs to take to market, and thought we had a contract, and the packer said, "Well, I really need to check with the corporate farms to see if I can take your pigs." And I thought, well, we need to figure out something where people want them rather than just take them, and so that also kind of pushed me over the edge to say, I'm going to put my neck and my head on the line and go out and see if we can breed animals and see if there's a market for a higher quality, better tasting pork.
Hmm, it's
So that
great.
was
I love
probably the catalyst of why we did it, from the get-go.
it. So we'll ask a couple more questions and I'll let you get. I know you've been on and we've taken your time tonight, but Jason Ball wants to know, what is your favorite cut to cook at home?
My favorite cut to cook at home is a French drac. So for Christmas, order a French drac or a pork prime rib and just rub it with olive oil, put salt and pepper on it. You can put it on your smoker, or you can just put it in your oven and don't cover it. Crank the heat up on it early, get the outside crisp, and then turn it down and cook it slow at about 225, and it'll be the best eating thing you ever ate. But that's probably one of my very favorite, items to have is, that
Is
French drac.
that on the website also?
It's on our website, you bet. Yep.
There you go. That sounds like something I should be cooking for Christmas this year.
Yeah,
Um,
it's phenomenal. We do a gift box where we send out, we have a lot of corporate
mhm.
people or farmers that have landlords that they buy stuff. So we got a gift box that we have available on our website that could have the French drac, a boneless loin, some bacon, sausage. There's various gift boxes. So if there's any corporate, people out there looking for Christmas ideas for their clientele or coworkers, that's a great present. Like one guy said, I give one to my parents every year because I know that'll be one thing I don't have to carry out.
There you go. That's awesome. Does the quality of the meat change throughout the year? Like, so, like fall, winter, summer, does it ever? Because I know, say, like briskets, they seem to be a little bit thinner in the summer than they do in the winter. Is that the same for pork, or is it pretty consistent throughout?
We won't see as much variation as what they probably see in beef because the animals actually are inside. It's always 68 to, 68 to 70 degrees, 74 degrees, 78 degrees, depending how old they are. So they never go through that cold weather of the winter like cattle would. So we don't see that much difference, you know, from year to year. You know, I think, you know, people said, well, you know, the animals in the wintertime, you know, they grab their competition products earlier. You know, there really shouldn't be that much different, you know, from time of the year.
Okay. That's a good answer. That's good to know, because I know that seems to be a question that is always asked or made up or whatever you want to say the answers to. But anyway, well, is there anything else that you want to let people know before I let you go? Or, I mean, I want to make sure that you get the website out there, how people can get in touch with y'all and everything else, because that's the whole purpose here. Is I want people to try Compart pork, man. I'm telling you, if you haven't tried Compart, you've got to. And it's like Mitchell said, there's a difference in all the different Durocs. So you're going to hear me say Compart more so than Duroc. But anyway, I don't know, Jim. I'll let you run with it. But
well, I appreciate everybody that, you know, I've met. Everybody that's used our product. You know, we really appreciate you know you buying products from us. If there's ever anything that, you know, you don't think is right, you let us know. You know, we'll make it right with you. But you know, I miss everybody, not seeing them this year, and look forward to seeing you next year. And so with that, you know, I just am really happy we were able to meet up with such fine people and be able to deliver a product, to have it, you know, being, you know, appreciated. That's the thing, that when we set out to do this, we didn't know if people would be able to differentiate the difference. We could differentiate the difference, but whether it would actually get into the mainstream that people can say, yeah. I mean, I have judges tell us, we know when we're eating Compart. You know, they know when they're eating Compart. I've had it happen. Doesn't matter if I'm in Memphis in May or at the American Royal or at you know, other competitions. I'll have people come up to me and say, we had some really good product today, and, you know, we can taste the difference. So that's kind of fun to see that, and kind of makes us feel like, you know, people are really appreciate what we've done. And it's taken a lot of actual hard work. I mean, it's not like we're mechanically injecting these pigs with something, or, you know, doing something to get instant return for Wall Street. I mean, it's a lot of hard work of shoving pigs on the scale and doing baby steps all the way through, you know, seeing small gains, you know, every year. And over the last 20 years, you know, a little gain every year over 20 years, but, you know, it's become a lot. So it's a big difference. I mean, we're way out ahead. I mean, there's nothing going to keep up with where we're at right now from a quality standpoint. Even if they're selecting for marbling, we did 17 years of nutritional research on over 100,000 animals to find the right ingredients to make that work as well.
That's awesome. Well, appreciate it. Stan says to add some of the pork burgers to your order. They sound like, it sounds delicious. But Jim, I do appreciate you spending time tonight with us here on Chewin the BBQ Fat. It means a lot to me that you'd come on and talk about your product and talk about your business. And you know, I just hope and pray that y'all continue to do what you're doing and be blessed and just keep making such a great product, because you know, and as everybody said, thank you so much for all the support that you've given to Competition Barbecue, because it's very well received. And you know, I thank you, and not that means anything, but I appreciate what all is going on and appreciate you coming on. So
Jim,
thank
you, sir.
Thank you again. And once again, you can reach him at www.compartdurocpork.com.
That's correct.
That's it. Awesome. Thank y'all. Go to the website, email them. There's all kind of information there. Y'all have a great night, and we will see you next. I don't know if we'll see you or not. Next week is Labor Day, so we will see what's going on. But Monday night, Chewin the BBQ Fat. Y'all have a great night. Jim, you can stay on for just a second.
Okay. Thanks, guys.